Hi, this is John. Welcome back to my channel. For anyone out there who has been patient enough and interested enough in my continuing bookshelf tour, I did have a little bit of time to film another episode of it today. I know it's been several months since I've shown anything, and I just want to show you some more books that are just laying around on my shelves. So I would like to show you these and these, as well as just a few things that I have laying underneath my bed. So I'll start off with these. This is Nathaniel Philbrick's Sea of Glory, America's Voyage of Discovery, the U.S. Expedition, excuse me. This is The Cambridge Companion to Jane Austen. This is a biography of Lord Byron, The Flawed Angel, by Phyllis Grosskreutz. Anthony Beevor's and Artemis Cooper's Paris After the Liberation, 1944 to 1949. A Frolic of His Own by William Gaddis. Michael Lewis's The Undoing Project, a friendship that changed our minds, and this is his book about the friendship between Amos Tversky and Daniel Kahneman, who wrote Thinking Fast and Slow. And there is David Halberstam's The Coldest Winter, America and the Korean War, and a book about a really fascinating topic called Imbeciles, the Supreme Court, American Eugenics, and the Sterilization of Carrie Buck by Adam Cohen. This book is about the famous U.S. Supreme Civil Court case called Buck versus Bell from the 1920s, in which the Supreme Court of the United States ruled that the United States has a compelling interest to sometimes sterilize its own citizens. So I would love to read this maybe for quarter four for a storathon or something. But let's get up to the shelves, since I think I have about 19 minutes worth of video left on my phone, and I need to jump into things. So I have talked about Liberty Fund before several times, and I've probably shown many of these books before, just not sitting on my shelf. Many of these, if not every single one, is from Liberty Fund. So there will be a lot of history here. There will be a smattering of philosophy and history of law, history of civilizations, a little bit of economics, history of ideas, that sort of stuff. Nothing terribly new if you're familiar with these tours or my reading interests. But let's jump in because, like I said, 16 minutes left and counting. Okay. This is a wonderful set that they have. This is called The Founders Constitution, and it is 5 books. They are still all in their cellophane of basically the history of the writing of the Constitution, the edits, the addenda, the day-by-day minutia, and constitutional sort of exegesis and interpretation and all of that stuff. 5 volumes. Let me deal with these since they're on the top. This is, Stephanie, if you're out there watching this, this is that book I was talking about by Roscoe Pound. It's called The Ideal Element in Law. This is from Cluny Press. This is Heinrich Rollmann's The State and Catholic Thought, a treatise in political philosophy. This is Liberty and the American Experience in the 18th century. A bunch of essays. And I will just fly through these. This is Constitutionalism and the Separation of Powers by M.J.C. Weil. Lessons on the French Revolution by, let's see, who is this by? Is that Lord Acton? I don't know. John Emmerich Edward Dahlberg Acton. That may or may not be Lord Acton. This is the history of the origins of representational government in Europe. And this is by, I think, Francois Guizot. Yes. He was a famous 19th century historian. This is by Russell Kirk, the 20th century conservative writer and historian. This is John Randolph of Roanoke, A Study in American Politics. This is a copy of Samuel Johnson's political writings. This is Reflections on the Rise and Fall of Ancient Republics by Edward Wortley Montague. David Hume's Essays, Moral, Political, and Literary. Envy, A Theory of Social Behavior by Helmut Scherk. The Evolution of Civilizations, An Introduction to Historical Analysis by Carroll Quigley. This is another book by Francois Guizot, The History of Civilization in Europe. This is Adam Smith's second most famous book, The Theory of Moral Sentiments, probably his better one if you ask me, but have not read this version of it. Here's some more Adam Smith letters on rhetoric and the belles lettres. And they also came out with a 4-volume edition of Ludwig van Mises' Human Action. So here is volume 1, and here is 2, and 3, excuse the glare, and 4. This is the Liberty Fund's edition of The Perfectibility of Man by John Passmore. Benjamin Constant on Revolution, on Religion, considered in its sources, its forms, and its developments. You can see a lot of these I have not gotten a chance to read because they're still in their wrapping. But I would like to get around to them eventually. The Roots of Liberty, the Magna Carta, Ancient Constitution, and the Anglo-American Tradition of the Rule of Law. Stephanie, again, if you're watching this, it's books like this that I would love to read with you. So that's another possibility for us to read. Maybe Q2. I don't know the exact dates there. This is The Making of Tocqueville's Democracy in America by James Schleifer. And this is The Pursuit of Certainty, David Hume, Jeremy Bentham, John Stuart Mill, and Beatrice Webb by Shirley Robin Letwin. Here on this bottom shelf, I have like an intro to psychology text for whatever reason. Mostly because I want to see the things that are behind it so they don't get sucked into this lip over here. But this is Germain de Stael's Considerations of the Principal Events of the French Revolution. Excuse me, I'm hiccupy. I think I also mentioned this to Stephanie. This is Stephanie Cohen, by the way. For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, I threatened to drag Stephanie through some history of law stuff. and she acted like she was interested because she's nice. But this is the history of English law before the time of Edward I by Pollock and Maitland. This is 2 volumes. They also did, I don't know if it's the complete work of John Stuart Mill, but they have an 8 or 10 volume Mill set. This is the works that are based on ethics, religion, and society. Mill is sort of an intellectual hero of mine, so I wanted to get the stuff that wasn't too economics heavy. This is The Fable of the Bees by, let's see, we've got the Mandeville. This is Sovereignty by Bernard de Huvenal. Sovereignty. This is The Illusion of the Epoch, Marxism-Leninism as a Philosophical Creed by H.B. Acton. This is The Spur of Fame by... Oh, come on. Oh, goodness. Dialogues of John Adams and Benjamin Rush from 1805 to 1813. This is The 18th Century Commonwealthmen by Carolyn Robbins. This is one of the several books that they have by Michael Oakeshott, the great English political theorist. This is Hobbes on Civil Association, Thomas Hobbes. This is Early Economic Thought in Spain from 1177 to 1740 by Marjorie Grice Hutchinson. This is some of the collected political writings of John Milton, including titularly the Areopagitica. This is a 2-volume set on the origins of the American Revolution from 1759 to 1766 by Bernard Kahlenberg. This is The Creation of the Presidency, 1775 to 1789, A Study in Constitutional History by Charles C. Thatch Jr. And I will end here with 3 books from Cluny Press, which publishes a lot of religious history. A lot of it's devotional and doesn't really interest me, but some of it is theology and philosophy and interests me a little bit more. So this is The Christian Philosophy of St. Augustine by Etienne Gilson, the great 20th century medieval philosopher, or historian of medieval philosophy, I should say. And two great books by Johan Huizinga, the Dutch historian. This is The Course of Civilizations, and his much, much more famous The Waning of the Middle Ages. All right, and that will wrap it up before I lose video time. That is, I think, going to be episode number 9, installment number 9. I'm done with this room, and then I will go into the other room for the next episode, and we will continue onward. All right, bye.